Yeah, I think it's pretty clear that the Chinese government wants to have some positive momentum with the new administration. Clearly, the meeting in Florida between President Xi and President Trump was an important one for many government officials here in Beijing. And so I think they've worked fairly hard to try to move forward on the 100-day agenda. We tried to express that there's still a lot of work to do. But again, I think it's clear that they've got the message. In several of the meetings, I thought it was interesting that they were really quite articulate about the issues. They basically knew the issues before we raised them. They began to address those issues. And it's clear that the government has a coordinated response on many of these issues.
You know, we had good meetings this week. The meetings that I participated in were with Vice Prime Minister Wong, who has jurisdiction over trade and food and agriculture. And so I thought that was very important. We also met with the Vice Minister of Commerce. In all these meetings, they understand the importance of trade, the trade balance, reducing the trade deficit with the United States. They admit that agriculture is one of the easiest ways for them to achieve that, and so I think that bodes well for us. And so we just have to continue to work to move forward to make progress in those areas. You know, I think things like soybeans are a natural fit. We have the market's going to continue to grow, but there's lots of other agriculture markets that are represented on this trade mission that also can make a huge impact and probably even grow from a higher percentage standpoint. So there's a lot of positives that I think came out of our meetings.
Well, I think there's two levels. I think there's one issue is dealing with the coordination of all the ag groups back to China together. Yeah, I think that has an impact. I think they see that Iowa has a lot of issues related to agriculture, that we're speaking with one voice, and that there has been, again, there's been some momentum, and I think this group has helped push that along a little further. I think the other takeaway from this is even back in Iowa, to have all of the ag leadership together and spend a week talking to each other, talking about issues, thinking about the future has been good, not only for our policies as it relates to China, but as it relates to issues that we're going to be dealing with when we get back in the U.S., including issues at the state legislature.
With the biotech issue, we thank them for the 4 approvals that we've received here as of recently, and then we talked about that there are at least 4 more additional biotech approvals that are in the pipeline that we really need to have some transparency and certainty and move forward on those, and they acknowledge that they need to do that, and that will probably occur down the road. They did not make any promises, though, that would happen immediately, but I think they realize to keep the trade balance moving in the right direction to achieve some of the goals in the 100-day plan and what will probably be the year plan, they need to continue to move agriculture trade forward, and biotech approvals is a big piece of that.
Well, I think the key is to have a little bit of patience. The Chinese look at history a lot different than we do. They have a very long history as a country. We have a tendency to be a little impatient in the U.S., so I think we have to continue to raise the issues, continue to push, do so with smiles, and do so out of a heart of friendship. And I think if we continue to do that, we'll be successful here in China.
You know, I think in every single meeting we were in, whether it was one of the highest levels of the central government or one of the ministry meetings or even one of the provincial meetings, is that Iowa, we even heard this term used a few times, is a geographic identifier. Basically translated, it's a brand. And so we can lead the way. It's appropriate for the state of Iowa to be leading the way to further enhance the relationships between China and the United States, and to further grow our trade opportunities and hopefully reduce our trade imbalance between the United States and China. So that's something that was very much impressive that we heard that several times tonight about Iowa, the importance of Iowa and China and the relationship.